Guys, Built is a proud sponsor of our upcoming interview with Chris Rose. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by tuning your rent payment into real rewards you can actually use. When you pay rent through Built, you earn flexible points that can be redeemed toward hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, or your next Lyft ride. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you with your entire neighborhood. Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNFL. That's joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNFL to make sure you know they sent you guys their way.
All right, let's bring Chris Rose in with us now. Chris, how are you? Thanks for joining us today. What team is represented on your hat right there?
This would be the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, who are the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins, I believe, still. And it's their alternate hat. That would be the Honey Drippers. So I've got a big minor league hat collection because they're way better than the big league caps. And so, I like to represent some weird stuff, and so let's go with it. Go Honey Drippers.
I like that hat, and this is a big thing now where minor league baseball teams change their name for a couple of days.
Yes.
What is the inspiration for this? Do you know how this started?
Yes, it's called money.
Fair enough.
They want to sell more hats, and so just like every decision in sports, it is made with green in the back of your brain. And so I'm a sucker. I'll go buy them, and so they've got somebody that's hook, line, and sinker. So that's me. All right, I want to know how my hometown's doing. How are we hanging in there emotionally? Are we good? Are we all right?
No, we're not good.
As Browns fans?
The Guardians, we had written off the Guardians, and then they pulled us all back. We were all excited, and then obviously a disappointing loss. The Browns, as usual, are terrible. And the Cavs, it's hard to get too excited about the regular season because of how the playoffs have gone the last few years. So make us feel better, Chris.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. But I am excited about the Cavs' upcoming season. They do have a ton. They really do. So, if they're healthy going into late April, then I'll be thrilled. But I do watch every game. Our oldest son lives with us, and that's his favorite squad, followed closely by the Guardians and the Browns. I mean, they're all right there. So we're excited. We're excited about the throwback. It's hard to call those jerseys throwbacks, by the way, because I've got the old. You know what? Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, get that jersey.
Yes. Hold on.
Here we go. The super old throwbacks.
Yeah, this is. Ready?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, those are the best ones they've had.
That is the best. I do love those. Oh, World
I got my World Beef Free jersey. So there you go. Yep,
that is cool.
Let's ask you about the Browns, Chris. Obviously, I know. Listen, when you look at this game, this is the first game that the Browns are favorite. Okay, are you buying the hype that we should that the Browns should be favorite in this game?
Well, as you know, I work for NFL Network, so I don't even really know what you're talking about when you use that word. I don't know. I would say that Miami at this point is equally as dysfunctional, right? I mean, Tua has to go out and apologize for something he said post-game, which I could not believe he went out there and aired that out. He aired out his coach. He aired out his teammates. I could not believe that, and I'm surprised that somebody didn't take him behind and, let him know, hey, that's not okay. Maybe somebody did. So they've got their own issues. As far as we go, I have to be honest with you. When I looked at the schedule, I thought at best 2-4 through 6 games. I don't know how you saw it. Did you guys see it any better?
Definitely not. Well, Tyvus picked them to win 8 games this year, so maybe
it's still on the table, Chris. Still on the table. Don't look like that. Don't look like that. It's a possibility.
Let me ask you this: when you said they're going to win 8 games, how many did you think they were going to play?
That's crazy.
Eight, nine is still on the table.
If it was 30, then I could be on board.
Yeah.
But if it was 17, then I think we'd have to have a little talk. And
I might have had a little bit of the Kool-Aid. That's all. A little bit.
But it sounds like you might have mixed something in with the Kool-Aid. Here's the deal, and this is tough because I love the Browns, and I tell my family, my kids all the time, like in the 80s when I was growing up,
yeah,
we were constantly fighting for the division crown. And we had Super Bowl aspirations. So when you get there on that rare chance that we've had that since we've been back in the league since 99, it just changes your entire fall. It really does. It changes how you feel about the week and everything else. And so it's not just that we're 1-5, but to have to watch the offense struggle the way that it has been a real challenge. And guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. When we drafted Dillon Gabriel and then Shedeur Sanders, I honestly felt like, well, those two guys are competing to see who can be the long-term backup. Because I just didn't see any. Now, with Shador, obviously there are traits and talents that he has that can make him a starting quarterback. But I just felt like he was so far away from being a week one starter. And I do think that at some point they should and have to look at him. I think it's a disservice if they don't. I don't know if that's 3 weeks. I don't know if that's 5 weeks. I don't think you put him in the middle of a game if Dillon Gabriel turns it over twice on Sunday. I just don't. I don't think that's best for him. Do I think that he can improve the team? I don't know how much more. I mean, guys, the wide receivers, if you go look at the film, they can't get open. When they do get open, they drop it. Our tackles are turnstiles, and it's deflating to have to watch this offense right now. It really is.
You know, Chris, you say all that, but I still see 8-9.
Give it up, buddy.
Keep it alive.
Oh, my God.
You got. Look, I don't know if the final number is going to be 4 wins. I don't know if it's going to be 6 wins. I don't know if it's going to be 2 wins. The question is, where are we moving forward with this franchise? And because of the Deshaun Watson trade, where you not only pay him $230 million guaranteed, and he played like, instead of a $45 million a year quarterback, a $10 million a year quarterback at best, you gave up 6 draft picks. And it doesn't mean we were going to hit on all 6. I mean, for God's sakes, Andrew Berry hasn't connected on one offensive lineman nor one wide receiver in the draft. But if you at least give yourself the chance, then maybe something's going to shake loose. Like this draft class, we all feel like is really good. And we'll have starters for years to come. Yeah. But the fact is that we totally whiffed at wide receiver, and we've totally whiffed on the offensive line. And that's just as big a reason as to, our offensive struggles as not being able to find a quarterback.
So, we just had a whole situation, Chris, where we talked about the mock drafts, and the mock drafts have us taken another quarterback, and we have no linemen under contract next year.
Right.
Well, no good ones at least.
Yeah, they're older.
Yeah.
We have, you go watch the film. I mean, we have pedestrian XFL receivers. I mean, it's just, it's all time bad. We got to put tight ends on the field because we don't have receivers. So I guess I'm saying, we lay out the track record and ground record for, what it is that we're going to, take as a quarterback. But I mean, how much better is it going to be if we take a quarterback, put them into the same thing, and we don't have linemen and receivers? Now we have 3 quarterbacks that don't have an infrastructure. What would you do? It's a little early. What would you do in the draft, and what would be your main priority?
All right, so let's assume that there were no buys this week. Let's assume that all 32 teams were playing this weekend, and let's assume that Lamar would be healthy and Joe Burrow would be healthy. Those are the long-term answers, right, in Baltimore and Cincinnati, respectively. 26 of the 32 teams would be starting guys who were selected night 1 of the draft. Now, it doesn't mean that they're all in the places that were drafted, right? Baker, Sam Darnold, guys like that move around. But somebody at some point saw them as a credible first-round draft pick. Yeah. That means there are 6 teams, only 6, that are starting a guy that was not selected on night 1. In the AFC, we're one of them. The Raiders are the other, and Geno Smith leads the league in interceptions. In the NFC, it's Hurts and Dak and Brock Purdy, although Mac Jones, who's a former first-round pick, has certainly played very, very well, and Spencer Rattler. And we know that the Saints are going to go after a quarterback again. I don't know if they think that Tyler Shuck is the answer, a guy they drafted in the 2nd round this year. My point is this, is that 80+% of the league believes that a first-round talent is the guy that needs to start on night 1. And that's what I believe as well. I just do. Now, it doesn't mean that Shedeur should not get a shot. Yes, but are there shortcomings in his game that, right, like if he were to get out here this weekend, guys, it would not be pretty. I mean, he would probably get sacked double-digit times based on the way that he played. Would he also make some incredible throws and maybe help our offense? Yes, a little bit. But it's not enough. He doesn't have superpowers, in my opinion, that would be enough to help this offense where it stands right now.
Well, let me give you a little pushback. I mean, Dillon Gabriel got sacked 6 times. So we're saying that. I mean, 6, 7. I mean, I push back on the premise that Shedeur Sanders would be visibly 10 times worse and get sacked 12 times. I didn't say he would be
10 times worse. I said that he has shortcomings. One of his shortcomings is if you study when guys come out of college, if they get sacked a lot, they get sacked in the NFL. My buddy Greg Cosell is the one that turned that on to all of us, and he's the guy that studies as much tape as anyone. He said Caleb Williams got sacked a ton when he was in college. What happened last year? He led the league by a lot in terms of getting sacked. And I'm not saying that guys can't learn to get better, but that's what would happen. Shador would also make plays. Now, like I told you, I didn't see either of these guys as the savior. When Gabriel got drafted in the 3rd and Shador gets drafted in the 5th, how many people said, look at this. We are going to find our quarterback, and we're going to be able to not have to spend a first-rounder next year on the quarterback? Well, I think we're going to have to, guys. Wouldn't you be more surprised if Shedeur played and changed your mind to thinking of we don't have to draft a quarterback than the other way around? Wouldn't you be more surprised?
Well, no, my evaluation was I had him as a higher draft pick than in round 5. I had him at worst a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Right.
So in my mind, from seeing him play, that's where I would have had him at.
And that's perfectly fine. I think most people, even the people who were down on Shedeur, didn't have him falling out of Friday. I mean, I was working the pre-draft show on Friday, and David Carr was one of our analysts, and he said, Chris, I don't think he's going tonight. I said, you've got to be nuts, David. There's no way that Shedeur Sanders is not getting drafted. We were talking about him, yes, maybe sliding out of the top 10, but then somebody's going to make a play for him if he's available around 20 or 25. If he gets past the Steelers, somebody's going to move up and draft him night 1. Well, it didn't happen. Giants traded up. We thought maybe that was going to be it. They go with Jackson Dart. And then we said, listen, look at all these quarterback-needy teams still at the top of the 2nd round, and nobody went after him. The Saints went a different direction. Other teams went different directions. And then we get to day 3, and he's still available. So we can sit here and we can have the discussion over again as to why he fell. And if people harbored ill will toward him and his family, I personally don't think that's it, because I know the NFL, I mean, they would do anything to get their hands on talented players. And if they think that you can help, and particularly at this position, like to me, the national narrative that the Browns are intentionally screwing Shedeur Sanders is so, if you say it out loud, it just cannot make sense. Why would a team that has been looking for a quarterback for 3.5 decades say, no, we don't want him around? They know him better than we do. So they know what's going on inside the building, how he's picking things up, how he's studying, all that sort of stuff. We're not privy to that. We just don't know. And so now that they were trying to have a young player play, he's going to get as many reps as possible. And we're talking about Dillon Gabriel. Do I want to see Shedeur play in a month? Yes. If the offense continues to look like this, 100%. In fact, it's malpractice if they don't get him on the field. I'm just saying that based on what I've seen and what I know, I don't know if he's the answer.
Chris, how much faith do you have that even if they do take a quarterback in the 1st round next year, that this regime will get it right, will take the right guy?
Yeah, they haven't had to. They haven't had to draft a quarterback yet. They took a huge swing. And let's all spin back the clock to when they traded for Deshaun Watson. People could say whatever they wanted in terms of the personal side of that. And we all had our opinions about it. And but the one area where we weren't concerned was his talent. Nobody was. Nope. You can't sit here and say, oh, well, I didn't like him back then. Nah. He was a 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback who arguably was going to be the most talented quarterback to ever put on brown and orange. Yeah. Right? I think we can all agree on that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
So that's the one area where we didn't think we'd be concerned was his lack of talent. And it just never – there's 2 games I can think of where he played like Deshaun Watson. One is the second half of the Baltimore game where we won on the road, and the other one was a home game against Tennessee. Wow. Other than that, we didn't see it. So these guys haven't had to pick a quarterback up high yet. So I don't know if you can answer the question.
You know what's crazy is that Chris was talking about when you were a kid and the Browns were really good, and I remember that as well. You and I are the same age, and you and I are both in our mid-50s, and we have never been able to legally drink to celebrate a Browns division championship. Never.
That's accurate.
Which is crazy.
That is accurate, and it's. But that doesn't mean illegally I wasn't doing some things.
That's true. I mean, who wasn't? Right. But when you were 18,
just as long as we're all on the same page.
Go ahead, Mike.
Listen, guys, it's frustrating. It's upsetting. We want the team to do well. By the way, Bull, I saw the clip the other day, and I got to disagree with you on something.
About what?
About when you said the Haslams are laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
They're not laughing. Do you really think that they feel good about the situation they're in?
No, I don't think they feel good. I think they want to win, but the fans are being suckered because they weren't trying to win this year. And there's been a lot of years during this regime where they took all the money from the fans. I get it. That's what teams do. And they were not trying to win. Do you think they were? Do you think the goal was to win this year? Because I don't think it was. And I think there's been a lot of years since they've been here where we're building for next year, or we're building for 2 years, and they don't, because they know the fans, because this is the most loyal fan base in the country, that they know fans will buy the jerseys and buy the hats and the memorabilia and will buy the season tickets, and they don't, and so. Yeah, I think they are laughing because they know the fans will fall for it every time and con themselves into believing the team's going to be good.
I don't think they're laughing at all. I don't think they're I think they're embarrassed. I think they
should be
upset. I think that they're upset that it hasn't worked. And so you can rip on the decision makers and the process all you want, but I really don't think for people that are like, well, they just want to be good by 2029. Wait a second. So if the Kansas City Chiefs open a new stadium in 2 years, which I think they're actually, I forget if they're, but let's take the Buffalo Bills. That's an even better example. The Bills have won 5 straight division crowns, and they're going to go into a new stadium next year. Do you think that their goal all along was just to be good by 2026? Or isn't it great that they have the reigning MVP in place, that they're an AFC Super Bowl contender, and they're going to ride that momentum? Like, why would you just want to be good by the time you start a new stadium?
Well, I don't think it's that, I don't think it's that you just want to be good at that point. But it feels like that's a bigger priority, their new stadium, and making sure they're good then, more importantly than now. But they can't win now because of all the mistakes they've made.
Okay, they have made mistakes, and that's where you should get them on. But I don't think that they're sitting there and say, I think that what happens is that loyalty can buy you more time. Yeah. So when you do make a mistake like the Deshaun Watson trade, it's going to take years to get out of that, guys. We just talked about it. 6 prime draft picks, 3 first-rounders, a couple of third-rounders. Maybe there was a second-rounder thrown in there as well, all that sort of stuff. I mean, even if you hit on only half of those, if it's 1 wide receiver, if it's 1 lineman, you're feeling better about where we are than where we are right now.
I think that reason right there is why Bull feels the way he feels, is that because of the mistake you made of the Deshaun Watson thing, you handicapped yourself. And not just off of the draft picks, but also financially, to where you can't really go out and make the big time moves that you need.
Right.
So I think that the only way that you can get a good product is when he comes off the books, which is whenever that is.
27.
So if that's 27, all right, 27, we just starting to rebuild and being able to do the things we want to do. 28, it's a great product. So by the time 29 comes, it should be Super Bowl. So that's probably why people think the way that they think.
Yeah, but listen, those are based on mistakes and not lining up. It just happens to be lining up with the advent of a new stadium. That's all. I mean, it's the New Orleans Saints have been going through this for years, right? They were always the team that you looked at their cap and you're like, well, how the heck are they $70 million over the cap again? Like, what are they doing? And then they'd kick the can down the road, and it's a lot of what the Browns' philosophy was as well. And in 2023, when we made the playoffs, we felt good about it. We knew it was kind of patchworky because we took a 38-year-old quarterback off the couch and we're able to go on this remarkable run that provided a lot of life and energy into a fan base again. But we knew that wasn't a long-term answer. Yeah. And so you were just praying that Deshaun was going to get back to Deshaun. And it just goes to show you, when you take a big swing and a miss in a trade market like that, it can cost you. Now, Denver's a team that bounced back. They did something similar with Russell Wilson, but they decided to, take the salary cap hit a year ago. They drafted a first-round quarterback, and all of a sudden, a year after trading Russ, they're back in the playoff picture.
Right. Yeah, and New Orleans, if even as big a disaster as they are, at least they got that Super Bowl. So the fans are not going to be as angry about going through what they're going through because they got
a lifetime ago, though. That's 16 years ago.
Well, it's a lot more recent than our fans have got.
I know, but you know that once fans get over a certain time span, they're not like, well, we won one 16 years ago. They can say, well, we'll always have that, but it doesn't make up for the product today. I
will say, Chris, last thing, because I know we got to go, but I will say, you probably don't know this, and it's painful maybe for you, but I am a Cubs fan, right? And
right,
okay. So, and obviously I still want them to win, but when they've lost it, like when they lost in the playoffs this year, I was disappointed. And maybe it's because I'm older. I don't know what it is, but it wasn't as heartbreaking as when they had lost before 2016. For me, at least.
Yeah, I guess so. But like for me, as a lifelong Guardians fan, this year's loss to Detroit didn't hurt me because I knew the team wasn't that good.
That's fair.
I think it's just a question of perspective and where you sit. We always want our teams to win. Like I'll be crushed if the Cavs don't win the NBA Finals because I think they're good enough to win the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
When the Guardians made the playoffs, I wanted us to beat Detroit. I really did. But I didn't think there was any way we could win the World Series the minute we got in. Now there have been years where I did.
Yes.
And I was crushed in 2017.
Yes.
I didn't think 2016's team had a chance because of the pitching injuries going in, and then when we make it to the games. Yeah. For God's sakes, you're going to make me go see a therapist twice this week.
I apologize. And let me just say that my general point about the Haslams were that they don't really care about the fans. Not that they don't want to win. Obviously, they want to win, but they don't know what they're doing. And I'm just caught up in I'm like angry that public money is going into stadiums, even though I go.
Yeah.
And that stuff just bothers me when we have half the city that's in poverty. And so I'm very bitter about ownership, and I don't like ownership, and I don't like that the son-in-law is a big shot in the front office, and the whole thing bothers me. And so maybe I didn't voice it perfectly, my criticism of Haslam, but the general point stands, is that he doesn't care about the fans, and I believe most owners don't.
Well, see, I don't think that's fair. They have a business to run, and so they're going to run. Now, you can gripe all you want about how they've run their business, and the fact is that it hasn't gotten done on the field.
Right.
And that is the end-all be-all. Now, if we're going to sit here and talk about stadium issues and where we should be putting money instead of stadiums, this has been going on. This is nothing new.
I know.
This has been going on across the country for decades and decades, ever since this first became a thing. So that area is nothing new and is not distinct to the Haslam family.
Sure.
But I do think you're wrong. I do think they care about the fans. For God's sakes, you know this, Bull, and you've made this point. Which ownership group has put the most money toward a team over a 3-year span in the history of the sport?
Yeah, they have.
The Haslams. Now, if they didn't care about the product, and if they didn't care about supplying a winner to the city of Cleveland, why would they do it? Now, once again, we can criticize the Browns for not getting it done. But I don't think you can criticize them for not wanting to get it done.
So Mike
Fair
Brown,
enough.
Mike Brown don't care about the Bengals.
I don't
Got
like
it.
Mike Brown at all. I hate Mike Brown. Can't stand him.
And let's be honest here. Most fans don't like their ownership.
Yeah.
They don't like their offensive coordinators.
Yep.
And they don't like their baseball managers because they take their pitchers out too early.
Yeah.
That's just,
That's
to
all
me,
true.
that's general consensus with sports.
All right, where's Kyle Tucker playing next year?
Somewhere that will pay him a total contract that starts with a 4. I don't know where that is yet.
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
I'm
Not
gonna say
Cleveland.
Philadelphia. I'm going to say Philadelphia.
The Padres.
We'll see.
Padres. Oof, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris. We appreciate it.
That is
Guys,
Chris Rose. What's up, Chris?
Damn,
no,
you just cut him right
no,
off.
No, Chris, I have one more thing. Chris, what was you saying?
Thank you. By the way, we will see Shador by the middle of November is my prediction. I would
Okay.
say probably around week 11 or somewhere around there.
All right.
All I need is 5 games.
There you go.
Give me
Well,
5.
That is the
We gotta see him in there at
fantastic
some
Chris
point.
Rose. Chris,
Thanks,
we
Chris.
appreciate you, man. Thank you so